This PetX Talk is brought to you by Pet World Media Group, your partner in all things pet media. Additional funding and considerations provided by Nature Pets, Project Blue Collar, and Dogwise Publishing. Are you ready to be empowered? Then join us for this PetX Talk.
Hi, my name is Holly Sher, and I own Evanger's Dog and Cat Food, which manufactures pet food. I'm here to talk to you about a brand new food called semi-dry superfood. How many of you buy dry food? According to Packaging Digest, 80% of you are buying dry food. But I'm here to talk about a brand new category. But before I begin about that, let's talk about how dry food and canned food and raw food got started. It happened with canned food around Napoleon's time. Napoleon had a big army. He had to feed his army. He needed something that was convenient, easy to feed to his army, something that would last for years because he didn't know how long he would be gone for, and something that was highly nutritious that they could eat at a moment's notice, so to speak. So canned food was developed around Napoleon's time and used well for the army. And then around World War I, canned food became popular, or started to become more popular with consumers for their pets. Canned food was always a good alternative to what people were doing back then. And it was convenient, it was highly nutritious, high meat content. There was no preservatives in canning, none whatsoever. Canning is the preservative, and there was moisture in the canned food. Then around 1950s, the dry food started. And how did the dry food start? The manufacturers that fed the cows and the pigs wanted to increase their market shares. So how do you increase your market share? You need another group to feed. So they decided on dogs and cats. So they had an extruded product that they were feeding to the cows and the pigs and other farm animals, and it was extruded, it still is extruded, and they decided to feed it to the dogs and cats. But what do you do when your dogs and cats are pickier than the animals that you're feeding to now? So they had to add palatability enhancers, and they had to add more fat. Then they put this new food in bags, which were easy to open and easy to store and last for a year because it's preserved with preservatives to last for a year. And that is how the dry food evolved. Now we have some new categories of raw and frozen that are still emerging and developing. So the next category that I feel as a manufacturer is semi-dry superfood. And what is semi-dry superfood? Well, I'm going to tell you how it started for our family. My dogs and the cats in the Evanger group come to work every day, and they get a beautiful buffet. They get a buffet of whatever we make that day. So they never really know what they're getting, which is good. And some days they eat better than others. But one day, my dog, Yukon, and it's all about my dogs, decided that he wasn't going to eat what we made that day. And so my husband went to the cabinet and pulled out our treats. And these are jerky treats. They're not extruded. They're very moist jerky treats, 6 calories. First ingredient is a high protein. And at the time, it was pheasant. So he's feeding 1, 2, 3 jerky treats to the dog, and all of a sudden, the whole bag's almost gone. There's 40 treats given to my dog, and I said to my husband, just feed him. Feed him a can that he likes. Just open a can and feed him. And then he says to me, what's wrong with these jerky treats? What's wrong? You know they're healthy. And my brain was saying, they're a treat. They're a treat. And so I knew it was healthy, but I couldn't get it through my brain to say, okay, it's a healthy food. So my husband said, I'll tell you what, I'll make Yukon a healthy food that's not a treat. How's that? And I said, okay, and just went on my way. 3 days later, he comes and shows me the healthy food that he made, and he said, this is a semi-dry food. It's dehydrated, and I'm going to feed it to the dogs, look. And he's feeding it, and they are loving it. I mean, they are loving it, and they can't get enough. And I'm like, wow, this is really good, because these dogs are really picky, but that's not to say everybody else is going to go for this. But the more I thought about it, the more I knew he was right, because this semi-dry food is high moisture. And let's talk about this. What does high moisture mean in a food? Well, when you feed dry food, think about how you eat cereal. You pour the milk in, and then you eat it, and it hydrates through your system. So as it goes through your intestines and your stomach, it gets dissolved and you get the nutrients that you need. However, if you ate just the dry food of the cereal, or your dog or cat is eating just the dry food, it doesn't have enough time to get all the necessary nutrients that it needs from the dry food, because the dogs and cats' system is much smaller than ours. And so what happens is they eat it and then they poop it out. So if you hydrate it, like putting milk in your cereal or doing a semi-moist food or a can, you have moisture, and moisture is good because when you eat it, it hydrates through the system, you get the nutrients that you need, and then you don't have to worry about what comes out at the other end. So now we have the semi-moist food, but besides being good for the dog and cat, what are the other good things about it? Well, it's high in protein. It's made with fresh meat, like raw meat, but we grind and then we dehydrate it. You can make it with fresh fruits and vegetables if you want. You don't have to. It's preserved with vitamin E, and it has the convenience of dry food. We put it in a bag, we put it on a shelf, you just open the bag when you want it, and you pour it in a bowl. And you can use this food with dry, you can mix it with can, you can use it solely by itself, and you can mix it with raw. And the other convenience of it is if you travel, you have the bag right there, and it's easy to feed, and you don't have to worry about it. And then when you have the busy household and no one has time to home cook for their dog, if you home cook, you could use a semi-dry superfood. In conclusion, I want to say that it takes every category in the pet world and puts it all together. It's convenient like the dry, it has high moisture like the can, and it has the goodness of raw product all put together, dehydrated down, and simply open it up, pour it in the bowl, and give it to your dog. And then the store owners can also put it next to the dry, put it next to the cans, put it next to the raw or frozen. It's such a versatile product, and that's the future of pet food.
We just finished our talk about semi-dry foods with Holly Sher. Holly, I wanted to follow up with a quick question for you. Why is moisture so important in pet foods?
Moisture is really important because you need the absorption so the animals can get the proper nutrition. For example, dry food has the moisture of about 8 to 10%, and when semi-dry has the moisture around 25%. And so the moisture is very important to get your 9 essential amino acids, and that is very good for robust health of the animal.
I also wanted to see if we could further dive into the differences between semi-dry versus kibble versus raw, because this really does sound like a middle ground that many pet parents are going to be very excited about.
It is a middle ground because you have the best of all worlds. You have the convenience of dry food. And if you're rushing and you don't have time to do raw or cook for your dog or whatever reason you don't want to do whatever you do, you have an alternative. Like I said, the moisture's there, the high meat content is so important. And that's what the dogs and cats need. And then, you know, dry food, even though it's grain-free, is it starch-free? Not really. So you can do this fresh meat, fresh fruits and vegetables if you want, and put it all together and dehydrate it, not extruded, dehydrate, and make this food, which gives the dogs and cats optimal nutrition.
Well, we really thank you for all that you're doing in the pet world. It makes a big difference. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us for this PetX Talk. For more information on Holly Sher, visit EvangersDogFood.com. Funding for PetX Talks is provided by Pet World Media Group, your partner in all things pet media. Additional funding and considerations for PetX Talks is provided by Natura Pets. Natura Pets can help you optimize your pet's health with premium organic supplements from the Amazon and Andes Mountains. Visit naturapets.com. Dogwise Publishing, all things dog. For all of your expert dog book needs, visit dogwise.com. Project Blue Collar. Support the Underdog is a movement to publicly identify and celebrate the rescue dog. Visit projectbluecollar.com. Special thanks to Pet World Insider, taking you inside the world of pets. Visit petworldinsider.com for more expert radio interviews, articles, and videos. This has been a Pet World Media Group production.